Hi Flosstube, my name is Catherine. Welcome to my channel if you've never been here before. This is where I talk about my cross stitch and my costuming and anything else that is kind of catching my interest at the moment. And if you have been here before and you're a subscriber, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Catherine. It's been a little bit of time. I missed December completely, and I really had wanted to be back, but you know, it was a bit of a scramble of a month. I won't go into all the details. I probably did all of the same type of things that you did during that time of year, and with a couple of added things. We celebrated our 31st wedding anniversary, my husband and I, and had a fantastic time taking a train ride up to Truckee, California. We live in the foothills, and so that's up in the Sierra Nevada. Now, we had never done that before. We've been on trains before, but it was magical. It started to snow on the train ride, and then we got up there and there was 2 feet of snow. We stayed in this old historic hotel, had a really fun time, a great dinner, and listened to music, and we had a wonderful time. And it was a great way to travel. It was very relaxing and romantic. It was perfect. And another thing I might have done that you may not have done is go to the Great Dickens Christmas Fair. And I'll insert a picture or two here as I'm talking. It is this really fun event. It's in San Francisco, and it is where they recreate indoors in this big auditorium area Dickens London, the streets of Dickens. And there are characters running around from the different Dickens characters, Scrooge and Marley and Oliver Twist and all of the various characters. They hire actors that come in from ACT, which is American Conservatory Theater, I think. And so all these professional actors running around, and it's a lot of fun and very immersive. We go in full costume. Not everybody, but I went in costume. My daughter and her husband and his mom, who is an actor, so she dives deep into it and has a really good time with us. And I costumed everybody, so I'll try to insert a picture here. And I made this costume for me this year that I wasn't really planning on, but at the last minute, about a couple weeks before, I really pushed into it. I got this French General fabric that was beautiful, red cotton. I wanted to be very 1840s. So if you think in terms of like prairie look, the old pioneer looking kind of costume, it was more in terms of that, less of what I usually do, which is like silks and wide hoops and all of that. So it was fun. And then Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of that fun things with family. And so here I am. This is Flosstube number 24, I believe, and it is January 2nd. It's a Monday. So we just had New Year's. Happy New Year's to everybody. And it is, I'm just looking outside, it's pouring rain. So thank goodness. I mean, California, we have gotten so much good rain here, and it's been nice. It really makes me want to stay in, get cozy, pull out my stitching. I've been stitching a lot. I have some fun finishes to show you, and plans for the new year, and that's where I am. So let me jump right in. And I'm going to start with the whip go. Now, I fell off the whip go wagon completely in December. I just decided I wanted to stitch what I wanted to stitch. I also had things that I really wanted to finish before the end of the year. There were some Christmas ornaments, and I'll show you. I did a sampler that I wanted to finish. So I put whip go on the shelf, and I pulled out Christmas Garden, and I'm going to pull that out and show you. This is from the Home for the Holidays book by Blackbird Designs, and I've been showing this for probably, I don't know, over a year. And I did my own conversion. This is the picture in the book. And so I wanted mine to be a little bit more defined like this. I wanted it to have more of a definition. And the colors that it called for, the colors that I found in the store that it called for felt like they weren't as strong as I wanted them to be. So I did my own conversion, and this is how it came out. There it is. Now I did make changes, and I'll talk about that in a second. But look at that. I'm so proud of myself for getting it done. Now I'm probably going to add a couple more family initials, but I just called it done for now. And I used Kim Goldman, who is the Contented Needleworker Kim. That's her handle on Flosstube, her new one, and Instagram. And I'm sure a lot of you watch her and know her. Did Christmas Garden, and she put God with Us in the bottom here, and Emmanuel. And I really loved that. But I thought I wanted it to reflect more of my family heritage. And I do have some Swedish heritage on my father's side. So I thought I would pull that into it. So in Swedish, it says Gud med oss, which is God with us. And I added these motifs that I got, the crowns out of the Brenda Key sampler book, and I just made up the hearts. I just kind of like that concept. And I'll tell you the colors in a second. I'm just going through. Now I had that yellow in there, which is Queen Bee by Classic Colorworks. And I had it in all of the snowflakes, and I just didn't care for it. So I pulled a lot of it out. I added it in a couple other places just to kind of balance out its presence. And this is a piece of 36 count vintage pearled barley by Lakeside. I love the color of this, the fabric. But that was another reason why I wanted to go with stronger colors, is I felt like it was already dark enough. It was just shaded enough that the called for colors just almost disappeared on it. So this is what I use. Let me pull it up here. I have Cranberry by Belsois. It's a silk by Classic Colorworks. And then again, Classic Colorworks Collard Greens. Again, it's the silk. I have just a little bit of that left. It's just a really, it's almost a sprucey color of green. This is the Queen Bee. And then I have, the brown is Caterpillar, and that is by Classic Colorworks. And that's for the deer and wherever it looks like it's the vases. Now charting this, that was interesting. Clearly I loved the font of Christmas Garden, but so I had to kind of make things up, some of the initials, or some of the letters. I think it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with that. So now it will be the challenge to get it framed. And I probably will be waiting a little bit because I think I'm going to frame this myself, and I need my husband's saw, and right now because of the pouring rain, and that's where we do that kind of work, is we pull the saw outside. And so it might be a few weeks until I can work that out. Very happy with this. Okay, my arm is getting tired. So that was finish number 1. That was the biggest one, I guess. So I'm going to show you my other finishes here. And let's see here. Let me see. I feel like I want to use a background, but let's just see if this works. So Black Sampler November was something that is not put on, but it was started by Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery. And I wanted to participate, but I also didn't want to do an entire sampler. or I did want to do an entire sampler, but I didn't want to do anything big. I wanted to do something that I could finish. So I went on and found a free pattern by Sampler Santas and Such. I get a lot of little small things from that site, their blog. And I'll link them below so you can go to their blog and you can find their free patterns. They have cute little mini things. So they had a mini sampler that I did in black. Now, I ironed the other things and then I realized that I had forgotten to iron this, so it's not quite ironed, but this was done on a piece of 45 count foxtail millet by Access Commodities. And I used Weeks Dye Works Coal. So cute and tiny. It really turned out cute. Very pleased with it. And I think this is called Miniature Sampler. It's fairly easy to find. And it's straightforward. It was pretty quick. The top part is eyelet stitches, and I'm pretty sure I just did the 8-leg eyelet, so because it was already small enough, the 45 count. This was my first time working with that small of a count, and I wanted to try it with a smaller sampler, and that's what I went for. Now I'm gonna have to say this about the Weeks Dye Works Coal. I find, and I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like when I'm working with Weeks Dye Works flosses that are dyed in a really darker color, it's a little bit more finicky, the floss. It feels like it knots up a little bit more, and it doesn't feel like the coverage is as strong as like a DMC or an Anchor, but it worked fine. For this size, 45 count, it worked quite well. I think the coverage is great. And where I have been displaying this is my little Tasha Tudor doll gets to hold on to it. So that was finished number 2. I'm going to go on to, I just finished this one today. So this is something that I haven't showed before. It was something that I got this year, and I thought, oh, for sure, this is going to be starting to finish like that. And it kind of languished a little bit, and it wasn't until I was looking around for some small thing to do, and I thought, why have I not done this? I love corgis. We have 2 corgis. We're on our 3rd corgi, so we actually have had 3, and I just love them. They're just the greatest dogs. This is Corgi Caboodle by Plum Street Samplers. I love it. And look, she has her baby on the back, who is up on top. Really cute. So I pulled it out, and I used a 36 count Legacy by Picture This Plus. I finished. So I'm going to point out the change, but I'm sure you can kind of see what I did. So the little one on top, I made him a sable color too, a red like the other 2. And to us, this is our Sammy. This is our Teal, and this is our Gracie. So I have all 3 of my babies there, and Teal has the crown on, and I did that to commemorate Queen Elizabeth II, and I put a 22 up there just so I'd remember the year she passed. And and then we have a bee. So to me, that's her too. So woohoo! This is my homage, if you will, to Queen Elizabeth and my beloved corgis. Corgi Caboodle. I'm not sure how I'll finish it. I really love the pillow finish that they do. So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. And again, this is a 36 count. I used all the called for floss. I did add a gold for the crown, just I think it was for something, and DMC, and then I had a silk, I can't remember what it was. I pulled it out of a different project, and just the purple for the crown. There she is. And I just made the crown up. I just kind of looked at crowns in books and tried to make it fit. Corgi Caboodle. Super cute. So that was finish number 3. And then my last finish so far. And that's just for December. I mean, I had other finishes last year, but I'm not gonna, that's too much. That's too much. So maybe next year I'll do a finish parade, but this is my parade for today. Jane Stanwix, and I love this one. I've wanted to have this on my wall for quite a while. I started Jane, I think I started Jane Stanwix in, I know it was this year. It was probably in the spring. I kitted it up with, let's see what I used. A 36 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works, and I just picked flosses that I thought looked like the picture to me. So I just kind of grabbed things, and I'll go through a couple of those. And this is my finish. Ta-da! This makes me very happy. There it is. What's not to love about it? I love that house. And I did personalize it with my family's initials, and I probably will add a 22 for the year, but for now it's gonna sit for a bit again until I can get my framing game on. But that is it. Isn't she pretty? There we go. Go on this side. Oh, there, that's better for my face. Oh, so pretty. I can't wait to get this up on my wall. And I do have plans for a sampler wall. So I know exactly where it's gonna go. There it is. What am I gonna, oh, I wanted to show you the, let me show you the flosses really quick. So the blue is Peacock, and that is a Bell Swab by Classic Colorworks. That blue, it's very bright around the outside, which I really, really loved. And the red, I have a couple reds. The house is Cupid, and that is by Classic Colorworks. It's a cotton. Had a good variegation to it. And the other red is, and that is in the flowers. It's more of a purpley red, and that one is Current by the Gentle Art. So that's in those flowers there, the tulips. Ta-da! What pushed me to finish this? Let me tell you this story really quick. So I was sitting at the kitchen table working on this, and my husband was sitting across from me, and we were having coffee in the morning, and I'm, you know, cruising along, moving up, doing the alphabet. I got her name done, and moving up and trying to, you know, jump around the top alphabets a little bit. And he actually had the nerve to look over at me and say, "How many of those things do you have going?" I said, "Oh, well, I don't know. But I think what he meant to say is like, how many red houses can you possibly stitch? And the answer is, there is no limit, right? I'll have all of the red houses and more. But it kind of like cracked the whip on me a little bit. I thought, you know, he is right. I need to finish things better. I need to get on that. So it pushed me a little bit to push on it. So I worked pretty hard on it and got it done in time for Christmas, and that made me happy. Okay, so those are some of my finishes. Now, I also did a couple other little things, like some ornaments that I have gifted. I did one for my daughter. Did I give one to my sister? I gave a little one to my sister that was from a prairie schooler. It's a a little pear, I mean really little. And I also did for my friend Susan, I did something that I wanted to, it was like bouncing around in my head. I wanted to do an 18th century pocket that kind of told a little story of our friendship. And we really just met through Flosstube and Instagram, and I just, you know, sometimes you just meet people and you just feel like you have known them for a really long time. And that's kind of the friendship I have with her. It's easy to talk with her, and we have a lot of common interests. And anyway, so I did this 18th century pocket design, and I wanted to make it into an ornament or something that she could hang up in her sewing room if she wanted to. And so I just designed it with, you know, my pencil and some graph paper. I haven't found the right software that I have wanted to use yet. I think I might end up getting Max Stitch and noodling around with that and doing designs so that I can share them, you know, just give them away. And I'm happy if some of my stitching gets out there and people want to stitch it too. So I'm going to insert a picture of the pocket that I did for her. And I did it on, it was on a 40 count. I think it was 40 count. It might have been a 36 count, but I can't remember the color of the fabric. It was the scrap that I had left over. And I did use all of the Anne Uffendale silks that I have left over. I didn't use all of them, but that was the palette that I drew from for it. I put Susan in a red dress. I'm wearing the notorious stripes. I put in a pear. Susan loves pears. I love pears. And a snail, not because she's a slow stitcher or I'm a slow stitcher. It's because we both have this affinity for being home and feeling like home is our safe place. And a snail carries its home on its back. That's the story. And then there's two birds up at the top because we can chit-chat quite easily. Anyway, that was the pocket. And then I put blackbird fabric on the back of it. I made a pocket. Instead of making it like a true pocket that would go under a dress, I made it actually have a pocket on the back, so she could slide something in there if she wanted to. And I bound it with silk, and it was not difficult to do at all. So it would be something that I think people might have fun doing. If you don't already know, you probably already know how to do things like that, but that's in it. That was one. And the other gifts that I gave out are gone. So that was Christmas, and that was all of my finishes that I have to share this time. And I'm going to talk a little bit now about what I'm working on. So I've got some whips going and I have starts, and I wanted to talk a little bit about my plans for January. So let me just start with what I have been focused on working on. So I really wanted to get those finishes done. So those really took up a good amount of my time, and a little bit on these other projects I'm going to grab. All right, let me see. I have, this one I'll talk about too. So in my Christmas bag, let me see if I can share some of this. I've got these charts here. So the chart that I finished for my little sister, I did this little pear. Turned out really cute. I just used the called for floss. I might have changed it a little bit, but if I have a picture, I'll insert it. And then I also did the little house. Where is it? The little house from that as well. That is right here. So this is the Prairie Schooler book number 29, and you can still get this. This is not the cardstock. This is just the reprint. And this is the little house that I did. And what did I do this on? This is on 40 Count Dusty Road by Seraphim with Called for DMC. Very cute. 40 count makes it super, super tiny. So I have a plan to get that into an ornament at some point. I have this book too. I really want to do some of those. So I also had, while I have this out, I had a Christmas Day start. Now I don't think I've ever done that before, where I started something on Christmas Day and actually got to stitch. Usually Christmas is a little crazy. This year we kind of did our Christmas opening gifts or whatever the day before, and so Christmas morning it was really quiet here. It was so great. I just sat at the kitchen table in my robe and stitched for like an hour, 2 hours. And I got a good start on this, and then I picked it up again later that day and worked on it. And I am talking about a Merry Christmas Sampler by Lottie Da. And I've seen this on so many people's. Oh, Gracie wants in. Gracie, you want to come in? Come on. Come on in. So, I think Brenda Sampler Stitcher had this in one of her displays, and I've seen it on several other people's floss tubes and Instagrams, and I've always really loved it and wanted to do it. So I got it and I started it on on 30, what do we have here? 36 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works. And it was kind of what I had in my stash. Didn't iron, and that's how far I got. And I'm using Called for flosses. And I can't wait to finish it. I really, you know, I feel like I could display it, I guess not year round. It says Merry Christmas after all, but it is very just sampler motifs, which is just all about that. So that's in my Christmas bag. There. What else do I have here? I'll talk about you in a second. I'm not sure if I showed this before. This is by Kathy Schmitz. Let's see if I can show you. It's a freebie on her blog, and it's a little berry, but it's all embroidered. And so I did it in black. I haven't fully finished it yet. I made it into a quail. And I used Leo and Roxy, and the color is charcoal, which I'm glad I pulled this out because I had been looking around for this, and I think I would have done my little mini sampler in that had I remembered where I put it. So there that is, and there it is. I just need to fully finish it. It's pretty simple to put together, and I have it, you just trace it. And so I just traced it into red, thinking that I'll do it in red too. But to be honest, all of these little doodads, those little French knots, they take time. They take a little bit of time. And I didn't back it with anything when I started to do it, so I feel like I can kind of see the floss beneath those, because I wasn't about to knot each one and finish it off. I carried my floss. So I need to fully finish that. And in here I also have, oh gosh, I've got some good things I want to do. Bristol berries. My needleberry, which is really pretty. And English sampler berries. These are all Erica Michaels. I want to do all of these. They're just gorgeous. But, you know, I always think, oh, it's not going to take very long. All of these things, I mean, Corgi Caboodle, the one I just finished, I thought Oh, I'm just gonna fly through this. And I gotta say, like all of that, I'm gonna show it again, all of those flowers and all those little doodads and whatnots, I thought I was done and I'd have to go fill something else in, and I was off a little bit, so there were things that looked different. One of my corgis was a little heavier than it should be, but yeah, I mean, those small things, sometimes you feel like you're just gonna snap right through it, but I don't know. It sometimes is deceiving. Okay, let's see. Let's talk a little bit about what my plans are. I feel like I should have more to talk about, but I wanted to talk, I have some starts I'm going to talk about too. I wanted to talk about how I'm going to approach January. And this is just January because I'm not doing with Go. I need some kind of motivation, and my head started to think about, okay, how could I get motivated to do things? And I started to think about the rule of three. So if you think about artwork, if you're familiar with design and how, you know, photographs are structured, or how artists lay out and approach a canvas, they divide it into three, right? So you have 3 columns, and then you have 3 horizontal columns. So it's actually 9 squares, which really starts to kind of resonate with me when I think about linen and how I, you know, when we use 9 squares, right? Or 9, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we make our X's over linen and what. Anyway, that's when you're working over 2 flosses. Am I making sense? Anyway, so I started to go down this rabbit hole and thinking about the rule of 3 and how I could pick 3 things to focus on rather than do a ton of starts and have crazy goals. Why don't I do less starts and still have crazy goals? So here is my plan for January. The first thing I wanted to do was a start. I wanted to do a January 1st start. The second thing I want is a finish. So I want to take a current whip and pull it all the way through to finish. The third thing, and this is a little scary for me, is a start and finish. So one project I start and I finish it by the end of the month in January. So I know that somebody, Carol Saltbox Stitcher, picks things like, I mean, Jane Stanwix would be nothing for her to start and finish, right, in a month. She picks big projects and really epic, you know, gorgeous things. I'm thinking if I could go more on a small scale and do a start and finish, I might have a hope of completing this, what they call the blessing sampler. So I'm not really sure why it's called a blessing sampler. It's to start off your year with a completion, which I feel like that blesses you in terms of, like for me, if I could have the confidence of knowing that I have a prayer of finishing something that I started and finishing it within a month, that would give me a lot, that would give me confidence and, you know, as a needleworker. So maybe that's why it's called blessing, but I'm not sure. If you know, could you tell me why we call it blessing samplers? But it was kind of something that I started to hear about this year, and then it really stuck with me. I think Nicola Parkman talked about it too. So that is my plan. So let me show you what I am planning to work on. For my start, I actually chose, now I knew that I wanted to start this. A lot of people are doing this as a sal, so I thought I would jump on the sal wagon. Now this is my start. That doesn't mean I have to have it finished, but because it's a sal, there is a certain amount that they, that you are focused on finishing in the first month. So the sampler is Florence Mary Dickinson, and this is by Hands Across the Sea. So I'm also ticking off the first week of the month working on Hands Across the Sea, which is something that Laura Duet Made Mozart is hashtagging. So I'm kind of jumping into that as well with this. I usually always have a Hands Across the Sea going, but now I have another one. It's beautiful. It's big. She is 253 by 297. The SAL, it's just to go across this top line. So from this month, from the birds and up across. So I kitted it up with, and I really just kind of finalized this. Today is Monday, yesterday. So I had all the flosses. I knew that I was going to use the Victoria Clayton hand-dyed fibers, and so I got all of those, and they're beautiful silks. So pretty. Oof. And I went through my stash of linen. I wanted to do it in a 40 count because I really like the way this particular floss lays on a 40 count. To be honest, I did use this for Jessie Watson, which I'm going to pull over and show you in a second here, and I felt like the coverage was a little bit, it was a 36 count, and I felt like it was just a little bit on the light side. Let me grab it really quick. It's right on the wall. So this is the Jessie Watson, and it looks fantastic. I don't have any negative things to say about it. I do feel like it's a bit of a lighter coverage. What I did on the house, this is where I did double cross my second half of the leg. So on the red part of the house, I went ahead and did that first leg of the X, and then on the second leg, I crossed it twice to just make it have a little bit more oomph. Yeah, a lot of violets, and I just really love this one. It hangs in my sewing room. Until I get my sampler wall going, that's where it lives. But I know at some point I'm going to put them all on the same wall. There. Oh, so pretty. So what I did for Florence is I used 40 count vintage pearled barley, and I just got a teeny tiny start on this yesterday, so it's not going to look like much. But the vintage pearled barley is, again, that's what I did Christmas Garden on, and that's also what I did Anton Uffendale on, and I just love this color, and I have other great colors, but this one, this was the winner. And let me pull them up and show you. So again, you know, sometimes it's misleading when you see the very thick, you know, big globby, globby. The hanks of floss look a lot denser than they do when it's just one strand, right? So I'm working one strand over 2 linen threads on this 40 count, and that's kind of where I ended off. And I really only got to work on it for about an hour yesterday before I had to run off and do other things. But yes, this is going to be something I really enjoy. So that's my start for January. I'm sure I'm going to have other starts. I have a feeling, I'm probably going to do the Brenda birthday sale. I know you know about it. Brenda, the sampler stitcher, is having a big birthday this month, and we are starting Scarlet House, sorry. Martha Evans, I believe that's what it's called. I'll insert a picture here. I ordered it, I haven't received it yet. I ordered it from Colorado Cross Stitcher. If you're looking for it, you can get it there. I believe she has she can kit it up for you, the whole thing. You can get everything you need there. I don't have the flosses yet. I'm probably going to use DMC for that. There are a lot of flosses. I want to make sure I don't overextend myself here with all the silks. I want all the silks. But, so that is my start. Now, my finish, I have a couple of choices actually for finishes, because I have a lot of things that are you know, if I push this month, I'll complete them. This one feels like it is the natural choice for me. I have wanted to get this done. I don't know why I'm dragging my feet on it. It is just, it's fabulous. Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. I don't know why I'm dragging. I love it, love it. So this is where I am on it. It's a 36 count. Oh gosh, what am I doing this on? Did I write it down? I didn't. And it's not on. Sometimes I write it on, it looks like Heartland. I picture this plus. I know it's either Heartland or Legacy. And I know my Corgi caboodle, this is Legacy. Maybe it is Legacy. This might be Legacy, which would be the called for then. 36 count, and I'm doing it with the called for flosses. Really shameful. Look at that. It's just despicable, horrible, bad floss treatment. And you can see I don't really have a ton. I worked a lot on those bottom flowers. The last time I worked, I finished filling in pretty much the red house. No, I just need to fill in the windows and put on the roof. And finish that middle row, and then go down and finish the bottom. So, and then go up the sides. It's not hard, it's just more. Just more I have to do. So I think this is going to be the one that I finish. So that's my finish. I have my start, I have my finish. That leaves my blessing sampler, which is a start and a finish. Okay, now it's buried underneath all of my other things. Let me pull it out here. I already have it on my scroll rods here, my, what's it called? Millennium frame. And I went back and forth about this one too, because I have something that would have been a lot easier. One second here, let me grab it. Which was Little Red Schoolhouse Pin Keep, what I wanted to do since I got it, and I have the floss that I wanted for it. I had this fabric that I was going to use on it, but then this kind of called me, and again, Hands Across the Sea. I just love it. This is Florence Law, $18.99. Waste not, want not. I just love everything about this. It's a little bigger than the other one, so, but you know, you start thinking, oh, it's just lines of alphabet and a little bit of dividing bands. That's not going to be too hard. Until you do what I did, which is pick 46 count Bristol linen in the color Biscotti, which is, I got this from Colorado Cross Stitcher. It is just gorgeous. And that is my start on it yesterday. That's what I really focused on. And I have to say, this 46 count, it's a little hard. It's a little bit hard for me. Because linen naturally, you know, has the slubs in it, so you have some of the threads on the linen are thinner and some are thicker. So the thin ones are super thin, and for me, I got off a couple of places because I had only gone over, I had gone over one too many, not seeing that really thin, anyway, I corrected it, I'm back on track. I have to definitely use a magnifier and get in close with this. So I am using, for the very first time, 103, and this is by Avera Soie. It's Soie 103, you know what it is, in the color 681, which is a really, really beautiful, beautiful red. So I'm hoping and praying that I can work on it. So that's what I'm going to do. When I'm done filming today, I'm going to clean this crazy mess up and get to work. So that is my loose plan for January. Now something else might bubble up and decide that it wants to be finished instead of Oh Joyous Day. But as far as a start and finish, that's what I'm planning. That's what I'm planning on. So wish me luck. Wish me luck on that. Okay, let's see. I have a couple of sweet things I got from other stitchers I wanted to share with you. The first one, Susan Stanley. Look what she did. I love this. I love it. That to me is Susan, and I need to make her that hat. It is a beautiful book for putting my flosses in and keeping track of one of my projects, which I might use this, I think, for Martha Evans. I just love it. She's so nice. It's so well made. I also got the sweetest card from my friend Andrea, who is Philin69 on Instagram. She's down under. I've wanted to say down under ever since I started Flosstube. So, Merry Christmas to all you, and Happy New Year. Okay, I'm not gonna, that's enough. And then I got this sweet one from Cindy C. I think we all need to do a sell for Cindy C, because she spreads so much happiness and joy to everybody with all of her beautiful stitches and her comments. I feel like every single time I post something, she is one of the first people to say something positive and sweet. And Cindy, we love you. Thank you for this. I love that. Look at those pins, so cute. And hollyberry floss. And then this from the beautiful, wonderful Daleen Wilson. Wait, you have to see. I know. Look at the dog. Oh, such a baby. So cute. And she sent me some, what is it? Hungarian blue bread poppies from her garden to mine. And I hope I can give them, I can make them bloom this year. I'm excited about that. All right, so haul-wise, I don't really have a ton of things to share. I kind of got, yes, I have stuff that I've purchased, but it's already kind of found its way into projects or tucked the fabric away. I did go to Needle in a Haystack when we went to Dickens Fair, and I spent money on fabric. So I got some Lakeside, that vintage pearled barley that I'm using for Florence Mary Dickinson. And I also got some Fiber on a Whim. I want to say it's Cream and Sugar. It's a very light sampler color. I got a big piece. I also ordered from Trixie Tricycle Cedar River linens. And it's not here yet, but I'm excited to see that, and I'll share that when I get that. I got 40 count, and I probably would have used it for my start. So anyway, you can't have too much fabric. I feel like that is the missing link for me, is being able to go into a shop and see it. That's the first thing I go for, is if they have linen, that's what I'm gonna go look for. But I did get some 103s. So I got this red, and I got another couple of reds, and I got some greens, just so I could try some out for sampler and see how I liked it. I know I was watching Lisa Prims on Greenway, and she was talking about her experience with this and how she wasn't loving it. And so it made me kind of get nervous, and I was like, well, oof, I was gonna do a red sampler with that. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get this started, so I could see how I liked it. So far, so good. I like it a lot on this smaller count, 45, 46. I think it's perfect. I'm not sure I would love it on a 40, but I don't know. I might. I haven't tried it. So I got some of those, and couple other little doodads here and there, but I'm trying to save it because I know coming into the year, I know I want charts. Oh, for Christmas, our son-in-law, Austin, got me, we draw names for Christmas instead of, you know, everybody buying a bunch of crazy gifts. We just get one person's name and we buy for them. And so it just makes Christmas a lot less stressful. And so I knew one of the kids got me. I wasn't sure who it was. So I sent my daughter a picture. I said, listen, I'm not sure who got me, but could you put a little bird in their ear and just let them know that I really want this chart from Traditional Stitches. I'm going to insert a picture here. I think it's called Lucy Barber. It's a Hands Across the Sea limited edition. Gorgeous. Nicola Parkman has been showing it on her Flosstubes, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Now, it was pricey for him to buy, and it's a pre-order thing. So for Christmas morning, he's like, here's your hobby house, you're not a hobby house, but here's your Hobby Lobby gift card for $10. Oh, and I got you this chart. And he showed me the picture on his phone. I'm like, yes! You know, that's what I really wanted. So I was really jazzed. So that, I know that's coming. I'm not sure what I'm going to kit that one up with. So stay tuned for that. But I have so much to do, so much I want to do, that I'm going to be busy for the month of January. So what I'm thinking about doing before the month is up is to come back with a whip parade. Now I have other projects up here that I have worked on, but I thought, you know, rather than wedge them all into today's video, I really just want to say hello and Happy New Year, and kind of let you know what my plans are and show you my finishes. Why don't I do a whip parade? I've never done one before. I'm a little nervous ever since my husband said, how many of those are you working on? Now I'm like, I don't know, how many am I working on? And there's a lot I want to do. So I'm like a lot of people in the same boat, right? There's so much that we want to get done, and there's so many great things coming out all the time. So let's see, I think I'm going to sign off here. I'm going to insert some pictures at the end of probably Dickens Fair and maybe a little bit of the house decorated. I don't know, whatever. I'm sure you've seen a lot of beautiful, hey, Cindy C has some great Instagram things. Oh, and Brenda Sampler Stitcher just had a video of her showing her stitchy spots and all of her beautiful finishes and beautiful projects she's received, and just crammed full. It's like a museum. It's just amazing. So, Happy New Year. Best of luck. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh, one more thing. One person I've been watching, binging, is the Paisley Stitcher. And I know I probably am late to the game here. You've all watched her and subscribed to her. If you have not, Grace the Paisley Stitcher. Amazing. And yes, I will say it. Gorgeous. Mwah! Gorgeous projects. Go check her out. Okay, you guys. Blessings to you. I love you. Bye-bye.